Hey y'all, what's going on? It is Barb Meets World, and we are here again to discuss the Real Housewives of Potomac's Season 9, Episode 11, Lovers Lagoon, okay? But before we get into all that, y'all already know I need you to do a few things for me, which includes liking this video. Yes, please and thank you. Like the video because it definitely helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm. It helps me attract new subscribers such as yourself. So go on ahead and do that for me. Thank you. Also, while you're at it, if you're not a subscriber, become a Barb's babe, hit that subscription button. I would love to have you. And I would also love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section. I want to know what you guys think about my commentary as well as the episode. And hit that notification bell so you know each and every time I make an upload, as well as share me with all of your folks, okay? That's what I'm asking for Christmas this year, is for you to do all of those things, okay? And we're here. Let's go. Whew, y'all. This episode, it was cute or whatever. Not too much happened until the end, I would say, once we get to the Lovers Lagoon party, you know, thrown by the Grand Dame or whatever. But nonetheless, we're still going to talk about it anyway, because that's just what we do down here at, you know, Barb Meets World's channel, right? Okay. Anyway, so y'all, let me just start off by saying I'm not going to harp on this because honestly, as soon as I say it, y'all understand why. It's really me just beating a dead horse at this point. And I say that to say I would be remiss if I did not mention how, did you guys notice how Gizelle really hasn't had any smoke for Mia since she said what I deem as an outlandish comment about her daughters some episodes back? You see how she hasn't really had any smoke for her, right? But if you rewind the tapes back to seasons prior, y'all, is it just me? Or do you guys remember how she had everything but kind things to say about Wendy and Candace, who didn't even come for her daughters at all? In all actuality, she had all the smoke for them and didn't even come for her kids. So, you know, I'm just saying, leopards never change their spots. Ultimately, we see how they're trying to course correct, and, you know, Giselle's trying to rebrand herself this season, but I'm not completely buying it because of things like this. That's all I'm going to say. And let's jump into the actual episode now. So, y'all, this episode began with Mia down at the, you know, one of those indoor recreational amusement parks for the kids. Yeah, she had her kids down there. Notice how her oldest son still was not anywhere in the picture. Just saying, just throwing that out there. But she took them down there, and she says that the children obviously know what's going on between her and Gordon and the divorce. I don't even want to get back into that because I still think it was gross what we saw last week. But again, she's saying in the moment that their voices are heard and their opinions matter, but I'm just not going to be so quick to take her word for it, because that's exactly what she said when she told the ladies that her and Ink had decided that they were going to kind of pump the brakes real quick, kind of, and he was going to fall back a little bit, but that never actually really happened. So it's like Mia saying that she hears her children and she's acknowledging their feelings and stuff like that, but at the same time, is that really going to result in her changing her behaviors? I doubt it. Just saying. That was really all we saw in that little scene, y'all. It was like 2.2 seconds. Moving on. Stacey, Gizelle, and Karen, they all meet up. And I'm assuming in Stacey's mind, she was thinking that this was going to be a time for her to really try to break down Giselle's unpenetrable barriers. Y'all know how rigid and just untouchable in a way Gizelle is. Yeah. So I think this was Stacey's idea of, she was going to try to befriend Gizelle on a different level. And Do y'all want to tell her or should I? Because Stacey, you are really barking up the wrong tree right now, because although what you're seeing this season from Gizelle might be real cute and all, you can't tell me that you haven't watched this show by hack, or you didn't, binge it upon entering this arena. Gizelle is definitely not the person that I would befriend, obviously. I would keep it real cute this season if I was Stacey, and really just try to learn everybody and understand everybody from my point of view. But yeah, we'll see. Nonetheless, TJ is going to be attending the Lovers Lagoon party with Stacey, much to a lot of our dismays, but not really surprised there. They don't really understand what this party entails. Obviously, we don't really either, as viewers. And also, y'all, I was kind of drawing a blank when it comes to Karen's previous lovers type of events and stuff like that. For some odd reason, I just can't remember any of them. Not saying that it didn't happen. Obviously they have, because that's the tune that everybody's speaking to in this episode, including Karen herself. So I'm just like, can you guys jog my memory in the comments below? Because I just, for some odd reason, could not remember. Moving on. The main purpose of the parties, though, is for them to talk about love and just all the offshoots of that. They're going to play games, the whole nine, right? Gizelle's like, Stacey, I really just want you to just be, by yourself and learn yourself and just focus on yourself and what you really want, what you like, what you dislike, just all the things. And again, although I have my feelings about Gizelle, as I said, now I have to agree with her here. Her and Karen, we're both saying the same things pretty much. I have to really agree with her here. And I'm just thinking that it's just like, is this another instance of Stacey just being up underneath this TJ spell, if you will? Because she's making it clear that, TJ is what she wants. She really likes him, And it's just like, you can feel all those things, girl, but that doesn't mean that that's the best move for you right now in your life. You can do all that, but that doesn't mean that that's where you should take things during this next step. And I'm really eager to see how she speaks on things once we get to the reunion, which I'm assuming should be taping here soon, since we're on episode 11 now, and they're about to go on their cast trip. We're just gonna have to see. We're really just gonna have to see. Gizelle, she's promoting her hopping on, hopping on some penises and whatnot. And honestly, the way she speaks tells us that she does want to be physical. She does want to be physically intimate with the person, with TJ in this case. So it's just like, why continue to deprive yourself of trying to live in accordance to what somebody else wants for you or y'all or whatever? And it's not to throw her ex-husband under the bus, because we haven't met him, haven't seen him, don't know about him. But obviously you're leaving that relationship for a reason. So it's just like, why not? You should be living life to the fullest. You should be living life 100% how you want to right now. And I just feel like she's compromising her wants right now in life. And it wouldn't be me after 16 years. That it would not be me after 16 years, y'all. Moving on though. So Wendy had all the ladies meet up at this boutique that actually Ashley shops at. And at first I was like, okay, if Ashley shops there, then I don't know, sis, because we know that Ashley is not the resident fashion girl on this show. The resident fashion girls on the show are the Grand Dame herself and Miss Dr. Wendy Osefo. Okay. And Kay be looking cute too. I will give it to her. Who else is considered a fashion girl? Yeah, nobody that I can see so far. I think Stacey dresses nice for herself and stuff, but yeah, that's all I can really say about that. Potomac is definitely not known for their fashions across the board. So Just saying. Anyway, so Wendy has them all come down. They don't really know why or what's up or whatever, but they all meet at this boutique. And I wish, I should have got a picture, because y'all, and shout outs to all the Game of Thrones fans, if you guys do watch Game of Thrones, when Wendy called Mia Targaryen, when I tell you guys, I almost rolled off the couch onto the floor in laughter. Girl, spot on analogy, because spot on comparison. Because was it this wig? I think it might have been this wig right here that she was wearing. And it's just like, for someone to always boast about how they're such a boss and they're such a on their and got all these businesses and all this stuff going on for themselves. This is how you've been walking around all season? Yeah, the math isn't mathing, just like it's not mathing on any other part of your life, Mia, but I digress. So, again, this is the first time we're seeing Jacqueline. Also, Jacqueline walks in, and this is the first time we're seeing her since Wendy's party. And of course, she had to let everybody know that she hasn't been invited to a lot of the recent events, because we know why she probably hasn't. But I just loved how Karen was just like, oh, well, here we go. Like, are we gearing up for another round? Because Karen stays on ready when it comes to these ladies, and especially Jacqueline. And it just seemed as though she still had a chip on her shoulder, and it's just not cute. It's not becoming. It makes you look even more desperate and more just like you're just kind of a loser. You're just kind of a loser is what it gives. And I hate that for you. I think I'm not sure if I mentioned last week, but Jacqueline is pregnant again with her third child, I guess this is. Don't know if this is PPP's baby or what, but I did notice that she made a pregnancy announcement. And again, I don't know if I said that in my last story. My last story? My last live. I don't know why I said story. Y'all. I guess I'm a narrator up here now. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I don't know if she thought that was going to solidify her spot on next season, but if that's what you're thinking, girl, it's not. At least for me, for someone like me, absolutely not. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. But so we have Wendy telling all the ladies, like, okay, everybody is going through some type of like transition right now, or big, changes in their life. She just entered a new decade. She just turned 40 that, we heard about every 5 minutes all season. She wants them to have this liberation session, and she doesn't want it to take place anywhere other than in Panama. Yay! We're going to Panama. Woo! Woo, 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 woo. So exciting, right? Pretty much all of the ladies were super excited about this. Who doesn't love a good old girls trip vacation? I've never been to Panama. I would absolutely love to go to Panama, y'all. But there is one particular person in the group that was none too thrilled, y'all. And that is none other than Ms. K. Yeah. Everybody else is super excited, and she's just like not excited to go to Belize because, as she said, and she said these exact words verbatim, y'all. I'm not putting no words in her mouth. She says that she likes big Europe cities. Not big European cities, big Europe cities is her preference. And I thought that was really whack, in my opinion. She says it gives her she likes the caviar, give her the champagne, give her Italy. And my whole thing is, when I went to her Instagram, because I had to, of course, fact check this, she literally just got back from Cabo last week, and so on and so forth. We see her in Grenada and St. Lucia and Turks and Caicos and Montego Bay, all these places, a lot of which were in the Caribbean, and various islands and stuff like that. And I'm just like, girl, you sound like really just, she just sounds very, I don't even know if you want to call it ignorant or just like uncultured, or like just, it was very tacky and a turnoff for me personally. Cause I'm like, ultimately we all have our preferences. We all like to vacation differently. Some people like to go to snowy places. Some people like to go, yes, to islands and stuff. Some people prefer cruises. Like, we all have our own ways that we prefer to travel and stuff like that. But there's just so much out there in the world to see. And you're not going to get those types of experiences in places other than the exact places that they're happening in. So it's just like, why not go and experience something new and not knock it until you try it? Like, it was just really whack to me. And especially when the way that you spoke on it just made you look just like, yeah, like just kind of ignorant, honestly. A lot of people were rubbed wrong by that online. So anyway, Wendy had to ask Mia, like, wait, so who's coming with you to Karen's Lovers Lagoon party or whatever? And Mia's like, she decided to invite Jacqueline since Ink can't make it. He got something going on, whatever. She's like, who other than, my lesbian lover would be a better choice? So the only problem is that Karen is not very fond of Jacqueline at this moment, right? So we already know that's probably going to be a problem, because it's one thing if you bring somebody to like an event that takes place outside of your home or something like that. I feel like that's already just rude there. But if you think that you're about to bring somebody who I don't fit into my home, into my personal space, like, that's a complete violation in my opinion. So Mia goes up to Karen to ask her if she's cool or whatever, and before she could even finish the sentence, y'all, Karen was like, nope, like she already peeped what she was about to ask. She was like, absolutely not in my home, not in my place of peace, not going to happen. Kay did redeem herself a little bit because that dress that she picked out was super cute. She was like the only one really trying on clothes, and I was just like, okay, I guess, whatever. And she was like, how many nights are we going out or whatever, Wendy? And Ashley's like, we going out every night. And I'm just like, you would say that, Ashley. You would be trying to be out and about every night. Of course you would. But I do like to see the ladies out, especially on these types of trips and stuff like that, because there are those times where they can have fun. And I relish in that, because I feel like sometimes that is just very few and far between. And as Mia and Jacqueline were having that, or Mia and Karen were having that conversation, or as Mia was telling Jacqueline about what Karen said to her, she tried to brush it off and act like she didn't want to be invited in the first place. Like, that's fine, that's good. Like, I didn't want to go, it's whatever. And we see Karen right there, like, yep, nope, like just sticking it in, even just that dig even further. And I was here for it. Although I still feel like something more happened between these two, because the way that Karen is just going off on Jacqueline and not featuring Jacqueline this season tells me that more must have happened, or something that we didn't see. Something occurred. And I get it. It doesn't, just because something rubs me the wrong way doesn't mean that it would rub you the wrong way, or vice versa. Something that you deem inappropriate might not be something I deem inappropriate. So maybe this is all of what Karen, maybe everything that we've seen is exactly what happened, but I don't know. Something tells me that something else just had to happen, the way that Karen's just going so hard. I don't know, y'all. Inquirer minds would love to know. And this scene ends with Kay spending $477, okay? And I just wanted to say that because, and shout outs to Rodney the Voice, because he's always bringing up how these girls are always giving broke, especially shout outs to Robin, Miss Robin Dixon, who spent like a whopping like $60 one time when they were shopping. And then you go to over here to the girls down at Beverly Hills, and they're spending, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you go over to Salt Lake City and they're spending, you know, millions of dollars on necklaces and so I just thought that was funny. Anyway, Kay, Greg, and her brother, they have a scene at home, and right off the bat I was just like, why couldn't we get this scene with like your mom, maybe, especially because she was packing and stuff. I just feel like it would have been better if she was with her mom or like another girl or something like that. But anyway, they cheers to Panama, which I'm just like, okay, do we need a geography lesson? Because last time I checked, Panama was in Central America. I do understand that there is a Panama City and stuff like that, but once she said out of the country, I should have told you. Like, it just wasn't like, a lot of people were saying online that she gives new money too, and I won't go as far as to say that, as much as I would just say that she should probably think twice before she opens her mouth sometimes about certain stuff. Just saying, y'all. She tells them that the theme for this event or this trip is liberation, because Wendy just turned 40. They have 3 divorces going on. Gizelle's an empty nester. And as she's telling them this, Greg hones in on the fact that there's been 3 divorces. And he's like, you know, that's not because of the show, right? And I'm just like, you would pick out the most negative thing in that sentence and try to flip it because you, again, don't want to be on the show. And honestly, Kay, if you plan on remaining on the show, unless Greg just has a just come to Jesus full 180 moment, I don't really see this going over well or whatever, because there's always going to be that unpredictable element. There's always going to be the possibility of things going left or some tables getting shook up or, you know, whatever on the show. And it just seems like he it's okay. Not everybody's meant for reality TV. Not everybody wants to be on reality TV, and that's totally fine. But I just, I don't know. And it's just like you also are saying, like, you don't even feel fully supported, even though like he's trying to be quote unquote supportive. It's just not really giving, and it's not really seeming as though he really wants, like, you're always going to have this constant like tug of war, it seems like, where you want your partner to be happy and not disappointed or having ill feelings towards what you're doing. That's going to have an impact on you if you care about your partner. Especially me being such an empathetic person, I just consume that, and it's definitely not a good feeling. You want your partner to be fully on board with your stuff. It's just easier that way, y'all. It really is. And there's certain stuff that you won't be on board with, and that's okay. But things like, filming a reality TV show for several months out of the year and everything that comes with being on this platform, I just don't think that he's the right guy for the right partner for her to have whilst being on a show like this. I don't. But anyway, she's just like, and I'm gonna go pack or whatever. And as she's packing, I'm just like, the brother also, although he was a little cute or whatever, I'll give him that. Whole family's banging. The whole family, the mama, the daughter, good genes over there. Can't take that from them. I'm just like, girl, don't be in here speaking that whole domestic bullshit to your sister. Talk about is she feeding you or whatever the fuck? Like, don't nobody care about that. Is he feeding her? What is he doing for her? It's always like, why is it always everything, the line of questioning is directed that way? Like, why can't it ever be directed this way? And I don't like Greg's attitude. I just don't, y'all. I'm sorry, but I don't. And again, she's clarifying how he's trying to support her, but it just doesn't make her feel good. And her brother asks how they're settling in. He says it's a transition. He has to speak female stuff, like as if, doesn't he have 3 daughters? Let's just unpack that right there. It shouldn't be that much of a transition. And we're married at one point. Like, it shouldn't be this weird, like, oh, there's female energy in here now. Like, when your home should have always represented a safe and welcoming place for women when you have 3 daughters. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, seriously. And maybe I'm nitpicking a little bit, but it's just like nothing that comes out of his mouth is ever anything like good to hear, for me at least. Like, what are you talking about? Because my dad, he is only a father of 1, and he speaks quote unquote female stuff to me all the time. So what are you talking about? Anyway, he used to do my hair when I was freaking a child, like, and not just like put in ponytails or whatever. Like, he used to press my hair with the hot comb. So what do you anyway, going on a tangent here, y'all. She's like, always talking shit about me, not cooking and stuff. And she talks about how their values are different. She values adoration and intimacy. He values respect and order and food. And it's always so serious and there's no fun. That shit's going to get old. Let me just tell you that. That shit is going to get old. And you're going to learn real quick that it just seems like he's the type of person that's always going to be something. Because right now you looking real insatiable, my dude. And last time I checked, she's a whole business owner on her own on her own accord. And she's down here assisting you with your business and doing all these things for you and pouring into your cup constantly. That shit is going to burn a bitch out. It definitely is. And Kay, I hope you exit stage left before it does, because he has a rude awakening coming. If it was me, he would have a rude motherfucking awakening. Just saying. Anyway, that's really it with that. I don't really have anything else to say, because it was just like, why are you subjecting yourself to this? For what? Is there something we're missing here? Anyway, then we get this scene with Stacey and her auntie sister, Dora, who is her dad's youngest sister. I thought this was a really cute scene. It was nice to see her filming with somebody in her life that's other than TJ for once. I need to get that like angel freaking noise so I can play it for moments like this. They clearly used to like double date or whatever, because her aunt is closer to her age. And again, I called her auntie sister because she doesn't even call her Aunt Dora. Like she said, like that's really her big sis. And her aunt asked her how single life is going. Has she met anyone? Because a year of separation is a long time without getting any. And she tells her about TJ. And so they did actually work together on QVC. I'm glad she clarified that, because I'm like, did he get the job? Did he not? Is he still there? Like, what's the deal with that? So they did actually work together at one point, and that's exactly why Dora knew who she was talking about, or who she was talking about when she mentioned, like, she was like, is that the cutie from, QVC, whatever? She's like, yeah. So, an FYI, Arabella has met him in passing, because she's met like all of the other coworkers down there at QVC. I liked how she clarified that as well. But her aunt is like the only one on board with this whole no sex thing. And for me, y'all, I shouldn't say the only one on board, because it's not even just about the sex thing. It's about the whole like total perspective here. It just seems like this dude is not that into you every time we check. And he doesn't pass up an opportunity to kind of like embarrass you and tell you that he don't really put you like that on this show, is how I view it. But whatever. Stacey was shocked though, because again, this is the first person that's looked at it as a good thing. And in most cases it is, I would say, a good thing. Like, I'm not saying that you should lead with sex if you're really trying to, have a committed relationship with a person. You definitely should want to get to know them, and not, because sometimes sex can be a distractor. So I do understand that, but we're just gonna have to see, I guess. Anyway, Gizelle has another date with Nam. How do you pronounce his name? Anams. what, I can't remember, whatever. Sorry, sir, because I hate when people by name, and I get it, but I don't know. I can't remember how she pronounced it right now. Nonetheless, this fool wanted to take her dancing. Yes, he wanted to take Gizelle Bryant, of all people, dancing, y'all. And I'm glad she let him know right off the bat that that is not her strong suit. We know it's not her strong suit. And I will say, on the surface, yes, the date looked like it was going well, but based on how Gizelle was rapidly firing those questions off and the types of questions she was asking tells me that she's not serious about this dude. Because you asking LeBron James or Michael Jordan, or you're asking him like all these superficial questions, is really just like Martin or whatever, like living single. Like what are we asking? That's nothing that's really going to get to the true substance of a person, if you ask me, which tells me that she's not really serious. Or even if she is serious, she wasn't going to actually have those conversations on the show, because going back to what I said in the beginning of this video, she has unpenetrable barriers up, and the only people that can even penetrate that to some degree are her daughters. So anyway, that was really all, though. Moving on. Oh, no. Then she talks about how she needs like a man that's a little rough around the edges, pretty much. Did some jail time maybe. And I'm like, you are way too old to be talking like this. And I get the whole, like, because you could be a bad boy but a good boy at the same time, if that makes sense. I'm like, you are way too old. And maybe that's your problem, is you've been looking for the wrong type of people all your life. Maybe you need to go against the grain and date outside of your normal dating pool, and maybe you will have better chances. Just saying. Anyway, it is now time for Karen's Love Lagoon party. She got like 2 mermaids. I thought that was a cute touch. She even had a lifeguard there. She got the backyard set up real nice, y'all. And Ray was cracking me up in this scene. And I wish we got more scenes with Ray, because he really is funny. I feel like when we see him, because when the mermaids were in the pool or whatever, and Karen, they were like, yay. And Ray was like, yeah. And Karen was like, Ray, what you mean, yay? That just was so funny to me, because I really do enjoy seeing them and their relationship together. And again, I just feel like Ray's funny. So anyway, Ashley, Josh, Gizelle, and Nams are riding together to the party. And Gizelle says that Karen is the elder statesman of the group. She's the seasoned one, and Ray is the even more seasoned one. So Gizelle didn't tell him what type of party this was, which on one hand, I think is super weird, awkward, and just odd and not really fair. But on the other hand, I got it a little bit, where it's like, you don't want the person to think like you're trying to, like you're about to drop down and propose to them tomorrow or something. Like, I get it. But I think you could have, like, yeah, definitely gave him a heads up, of course. You shouldn't withhold information from a person that could potentially impact the outcome of a situation. Just saying. But Ashley plans on being protective of Josh. Yeah. Ray said if there's mermaids in the pool, he would be in there every day. It's just these like one-liners and whatnot that we get from him that really do make me laugh, y'all. I think that's really it up until they actually get to the party. I guess I don't remember. She might have said this. I did remember from her interview that Jassi said her family was kind of like well off or whatever, which is more of the reason why I'm like, why are you anyway. But she brought a bottle of wine from her family's vineyard or winery, whatever. I thought that was cool. That was a nice touch. Never go to anybody's house or event empty-handed, y'all. Just saying. And I seen a lot of empty hands. Just throwing that out there. But then once everyone arrives and they sit around, the first game is of course, like a card game or whatever. And I forget what Karen called it. I think it was Turn Up the Heat. Yeah, Turn Up the Heat. Karen asked, do you feel like your partner has ever cheated? That was the first question. Jumped straight off the porch with it. No holds barred. I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't mad at it at all, because this was like the last 10, 15 minutes of the show or whatever. And we needed to up the ante, because if it didn't end on this type of scene, y'all, this episode would have still given me like a little bit of filler. Just saying. Anyway, Gizelle, of course, isn't going to let this opportunity pass her by without shading Karen, because, of course, we've heard the cheating rumors, the blue eye rumors, all that. And Ray says he doesn't believe that she's cheated, and, you know, vice versa, whatever on that. But, of course, Gizelle has to bust Karen's chops when she feels, you know, necessary. Otherwise, she wouldn't be Gizelle, right? And this wouldn't be the Real Housewives of Potomac. So, when they get to Stacey and TJ, Stacey brings up what was discussed at lunch the other day with Karen and Gizelle, which is, you know, how she should be doing her own thing, especially when he's in, or how he does his own thing, probably when he's in LA and stuff. And do you guys think that that's the case or not? I don't know. But what I do know is it's weird a bit, and it's even weirder that he prides himself on talking about he ain't sleep on nobody but his Bugs Bunny. Like, how old are you? That's really strange to me. Just saying. But Gizelle was also like, you know, you're not a couple, so this doesn't even apply to you, right? And I'm like, you know what? Honestly, I have to agree there, because y'all's situation is like really odd. Even her referring to him as her best friend, I feel like is odd, because like, Stacey, don't let me find out you have like attachment issues or something, because I'm just the type of person that I don't throw around titles lightly. Like, you really, I'm not saying I'm going to hit you with a friendship contract. Shout out to Cynthia. But there really does have to be a certain amount of memories and a certain amount of just friendship stock that needs to be collected before I could really just give you certain titles in my life. And best friend is definitely one of them. I do not throw that around lightly whatsoever. So I feel like even though you guys have known each other for a year, I feel like that's still fast for you to be like, this is my best friend. Just saying. Anyway. And TJ said that he has to agree with her. And everybody offered up their opinions on how Stacey needs to try different penises and explore her wild oats, pretty much, which I still agree with. Anyway, so then we get to Jassi and Darius, and although he doesn't feel like she's cheated, Jassi uses this as an opportunity to speak on something that I feel like she should have spoke on and came from this angle from day one on this show, instead of acting like it was like something different. I feel like she should have led with this in the beginning, that she does feel like he's cheated. She doesn't have receipts, but she does feel like in her gut that, you know, something went down at one point or another. And of course he tried to say that, you know, well, anything that happened when we weren't together, whatever, is before, whatever, yada yada. And I'm just like, Jassi, like, why are you another one going through all this for somebody who, like, I mean, I feel like physically and mentally, like all the ways, I feel like you could do better. I really do. But again, we're only seeing a glimpse into these ladies' lives, so who am I to talk ultimately? But I feel like if she would have just came at it from this way, instead of making it seem like she was trying to either cover up for him or portray it as something more perfect than what it was, I feel like it would have been a lot better for her. And perhaps his child's mother wouldn't have came out and felt the need to defend herself and stuff. Just saying. Eddie and Wendy were a no. Greg and Kay were a no. Mia says that she asked for Gordon. She's not asking for Ink. And I was like, is that also maybe why Ink didn't come? Like, was it because you didn't want people coming at your necks, potentially, since this was called a lovers lagoon party. Obviously, we kind of know where things are going to probably go. We're going to be talking about a relationship possibly and things of that nature. So maybe she didn't want him there because then she would have had to remember too many of her lies and try to, you know, expound upon them, which gets messy. I don't know. That, and then Greg and Kay's chemistry is just like for me. It's not really like I don't really catch the vibes. I don't. But the next question is, are you more dominant or submissive in the bedroom? And Kay started off, and let me get some water, y'all. I'm sorry. He says that he's dominant. She says she's submissive, so we're good there. Wendy says she's submissive, and even when she does try to, like, I guess, act dominant or whatever, Eddie, you know, he lets me know he is dominant when he says, you know, come to the edge of bed, it's time to come to the edge of bed. And I was like, oh, excuse me. Like, I was not expecting, excuse me, Eddie. Okay, I see you. And I just feel like it's because, and I want to say somebody made mention of this in their review or on the blogs or somewhere I read. If you really think about it, y'all, we don't really know too much about Wendy and Eddie's relationship, marriage. We don't really, obviously we know about the family, the extended family and stuff like that, but we really don't get too much involved in the intricacies and all, like, really just, we don't really know too much about their marriage, genuinely. So I guess maybe that's why when this came up, I was just like, oh, excuse me, Eddie. But he's just never really, we've never just seen, you know, the glimpse into their marriage like this. So I was like, okay, wasn't expecting that, but if it works for y'all, it works for me. Cool. Mia said with Gordon, she was dominant, but with Ink, he likes to choke her, so she'll give him the dominant role. I don't even want to talk about that because I honestly don't care. I don't. Gizelle, she's like, it was funny though when Gizelle was like, well, yeah, he has to strangle you in order to, like, to attach himself to you or whatever, which was funny. Nams and Josh being there, although it was a little odd because they just started going on dates with these ladies like 15 minutes ago. I did feel like they fit well enough though in the moment. I physically I like looking at Josh a hell of a lot more than I like to look at Michael's ass. That's for damn sure. And it did seem like they fit in kind of well and weren't afraid to, you know, speak their minds and stuff. Because as Namza said, he was like, yeah, there's gonna be some jousting in there because Giselle's talking about, you know, she might want to be dominant, he might want to be dominant, so it's gonna be some jousting in there. And I was like, that was funny, that was cute. Haha, he. Ashley, she's more dominant when she's in her lady pond, but when she's with men, she is more submissive. I honestly can empathize with that to a degree. And I'm not surprised because it is Ashley that we're talking about. So wasn't surprised there at all, y'all. Wendy also brings up how they were taking shots on her at her birthday, and when, like, both her and Ashley were pretty drunk, and Ashley then looked at her and was like, so you're going to show me something tonight? Because we've heard about them, like, showing each other their vaginas and all that. And I mean, again, we do hear about all the antics that go on once the cameras are down and stuff like that. So if that's how they want to bond in this group, y'all like it, I love it. I'm not going to knock it, but I would expect that type of behavior from someone like Ashley. If I had to pick one person in this group, it definitely would be. It definitely would be. Yeah. Darius says he's a dominant. He handles his. Stacey says she's more dominant. And then this is when TJ was like, just because I ain't sleeping with you right now or whatever, doesn't mean that, you know, she'll ever be more dominant than him. Excuse me, sir? Okay. And on one hand, I was like, okay, TJ, maybe he isn't, because they also were like, this question doesn't really apply, because they all were looking at him like he was still a virgin. He's like, no, like I'm not a virgin or whatever. And I feel like this is the first time he didn't answer a question or give off like this weird energy. So I was like, okay, TJ may have gotten like this much cool points from me this season or this episode. And even, I don't know if you guys caught, I feel like Stacey felt like kind of uncomfortable too in this scene at one of the points when the camera panned over to her, and we see TJ asking like, is she good or whatever, she looks nice. I'm like, that's the first time we've heard him, I feel like, say anything about her appearance. So like I'm trying, y'all. I really am trying, because Stacey seems like an intelligent woman who I would like to think wouldn't set herself up for failure like that. So I'm trying to see what she sees, but I still can't completely see it. But in this episode, I was really grasping. I was really grasping on straws trying to see it, y'all. I also laughed too when Gizelle asked Ray whether or not he wants Karen to unretire her mouth, and he was like, yeah, like, of course, like, sure, yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought that was so funny. I was like, Karen, if you don't give some sloppy toppy to your man, to the black Bill Gates, I'm so messy. But that's pretty much where, oh no, Ray said that she used to tear him up. I thought that was funny. But that's pretty much where things end, I want to say. I think I hit everything, y'all. And as the episode is coming to a close, as the credits are starting to roll, they're playing this ominous, this very like haunting, very like paranoid, if you will, music. And it's like dun 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 dun. And there we see like a baby deer and the mermaids in the pool and like birds just like scattering and all of these things that lead us to believe that somebody's coming, something's about to happen. And who is it, y'all? Who is it other than the most desperate person I feel like on this cast right now, other than Mia, which is Jacqueline, her lesbian lover. And she's like, it's right, whatever. And Karen's like, no, absolutely not. And I'm just like, for someone like me, that will get you beat the down. Just saying. That will get you beat into the ground if you think that you're about to bring chaos and your uninvited ass to my party. She'd been wearing those balloons if it was me. She would have been a balloon, because you already know that you were not invited. You definitely know that. There's no gray area when it comes to that. Karen said what she said. And that is just so disrespectful. And I feel like she thought like this is going to be a moment for her. And I highly doubt it will be. I'm not going to say highly doubt. I know it won't be. Like, Karen is not going to let you like get that off. She's not. So it's like, why do you keep barking up this tree? It's going to come back, and it's going to come back with a vengeance. And you're the one who's going to be in tears like you were episodes prior. And you're the one who's going to be going home with your tail tucked between your legs. Do better. Don't come back next season. Don't you do not bring her ass back next season, y'all. Do not, because I cannot do it with her. Just the wet blanket, just. But anyway, that's really all I have to say about this episode. Again, it was enough, but it wasn't, but it wasn't, whatever. Y'all let me know what you guys thought of my commentary in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video, y'all. Like the video. Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe, do all the things. My socials are scrolling along the bottom of the screen like they have been this entire 49 minutes now. And yeah, y'all, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.